Dear Grace. Another attempt at doing one of these without any news. I never really got into positive effects of Dear Grace when doing episode number 1. I recorded for an hour yesterday, which was reduced down to 15 minutes, which means 3 is just dead air, which I don't care. I just find it interesting. It means if I want an hour of content a day, I'm either going to have to talk more, pause less, or talk longer. It's similar talking more, but different. It's about 150 steps to the train station. And I'm narrating my every step. Before the train station, there's a little spot under the train in an electrical box. There's a 50-50 chance that someone will be shooting up there as I walk by. Or will have already shot up. And they are just nodding off. Like everybody, there's not really anything you can do for someone shooting up or nodding off, or both. It's basically not illegal. The only time next station is New Westminster, doors on the right. Aha! If you're listening to this, Grace, all that noise was a trip on the train. I was planning on going to the welfare office. There's a problem with my tax slip. I realize it's 12.30 and I close until 1.00. There's not really anything to do around here until 1. Plus at 1, there'll be a line up. So I fucked that up. Shouldn't have been bothered coming here. However, it's only 1 stop. Back on the train. All the way back to the library. See if I can find something to talk about in the next 2 hours. I'm not turning the recording off at all because I don't plan on letting anyone listen to it anyway. Sparked by a guy smoking crack out of a Budweiser can on the mezzanine. 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 The train removal. I don't care. I see it's better to smoke it in the public. How are you? At least if it's in public, if something does go wrong. One day I'm gonna measure these fucking trains. Anyways. Oh, if they do it in public, then at least if they do overdose, the security guard can come find them. This is what I urge. If they are still in the same position, when I return home 2 hours later, I just tell the security guys at the transit station, and they take care of it. I guess I'd be curious to know if anyone's died under that bridge. I wonder if I can do a FOIA request to figure that one out. Grace. I guess it's back to school time. I can't really remember how I got on the DSM-5 tangent yesterday. Doesn't really matter. It still applies today. Anything more so? Definitely forgot to mention. There's not a lot of cures in the DSM-5. There's 0 cures in the DSM-5. It's literally just a book of observations that we're all supposed to bow down to. Oh yeah. And their entire solution for addiction is abstinence. I'm not sure if the DSM-5 supports the big book or not. 12 steps. I should check that today, Grace. But I'm not an actual fucking journalist, so I probably won't. But again, according to the experts, all addiction is the same. According to the people that have gone through it, it's not. And there are more than one ways to get out of any addiction. Grace, I like to say, put 52 comedians in a room, tell them your problem, and ask for help. You'll probably get 52 different solutions, which is a good thing. AA doesn't work for everyone. So if the system is you go to AA or nothing, then clearly 80% of the people are more falling through the system. I've already talked about this, Grace. We don't need the DSM-5. We need AI that's reliable, controllable, and usable. And that AI go through millions of records of living people who are addicted to whatever and let it find the correlation. It seems so painfully, painfully obvious to me, Grace. Yet every news story is about how AI is going to take away jobs. I say, use AI to solve the problems that we clearly can't solve. Into. Imagine having a therapist. I'll use that term loosely. But you go in, and they actually do take your proper history, and you give them all your past history, past medical records, screen time, bank account. Whatever. Whatever defines you as a person. All that information would help a person know there's an issue. Most people don't walk into the therapist's office and say, "Oh, I'm about to go bankrupt." They might eventually. But they are just as likely to hide their financial problems and talk about why they think they're depressed about a divorce or something. Whatever, the therapist doesn't know the full story, so to be fair, I guess they can only do with what they have. But that's my exact point here. I could take a large amount of data and summarize that down to just a few points, which then can be expounded upon if needed, or re-researched. It's basically like just having a database into the person's mind that you can query and ask questions, find patterns. I'm not saying, yeah, I can do a lot of work right now, but therapists could assist AI in training it on what data they are looking for. And different therapists, if they have this massive database of information to pull from, they have the mental health issue the person has. Because most mental health issues don't just appear out of thin air. That's maybe in a traumatic situation, but that's different. I don't think grieving is a mental health issue. Grieving is misunderstood. I wonder what the DSM-5 says about that. What does the DSM-5 say about praying? They kind of screwed themselves. If praying stops you from drinking, then get on your fucking knees and pray. Who cares? It's nobody's business. But, if it does work, tell your story anonymously. Get it out there. Library's pretty boring today, Grace. 2 babies with their mums on blankets. It's the most exciting thing. The flowers are very red today, as they were yesterday. We've got a nice smoky light going on here. Easy. Perfect for photography. Hint, hint. Some guy's having a Zoom meeting in the park. I should just start yelling and running around in circles. We stick to the addiction issue or concept. Grace. AI could be such an amazing assistant. First off, it could be a scour the internet 24/7. Looking for solutions, looking for people, positive stories, positive outcomes, and negative outcomes, and why. Something no therapist can do. Nearly read 100 books in a second. Again, something no therapist can do. And ultimately, it can provide multiple possible solutions, with the understanding that it's a bit of a guessing game. If AA worked, there'd be no addicts at all. AA works for some people. Medication probably works for some people. Change in relationship probably works for some people. But as soon as I hear the term, "this is the only way," then I can't trust that person anymore. Because if you tell me AA is the only way, you're wrong. Millions of people have quit whatever without AA. So what I don't understand is why can't we just everyone, AI, every fucking person on the planet agree that the ultimate goal is a solution to the problem, not a solution down a particular path. So if you wrote a book about addiction, great. But some reason says this sucks and didn't help me, don't take it personally. It's not going to work for everyone. If it worked for you, then hopefully it'll work for others. The problem with so many of these self-help books is you don't get the full true backstory. You get bit of the story, and then it's like, then I developed a system. 6 steps to blah blah blah. Quit smoking in 6 easy steps. Which I get. Okay, babies with hats are a whole lot cuter than babies without hats. And I don't know why. Anyways, why can't we just agree that if a person's walking into any sort of therapy situation, online, in person, whatever, that they are looking for a solution to a problem they are having in their life. End of story. You want to call it mental health, you can. You want to call it addiction, you can. But the fact is, if the person had the balls, so to speak, to go into the therapist's office and ask for help, admit their own feelings, and therapists will be doing everything in their fucking power to find a solution. Not a treatment, not a cover-up, not a pill to dull our pain, an actual solution. So that when they wake up in the morning, they are actually happy about their life, and they want to wake up, and they want to get out of bed. All the things I don't feel like doing, Grace. And if it wasn't for dear Grace, holy shit, I've got to describe this guy. Alright, I'm all for. Jesus, I should take a picture, Grace. If you're gonna be trans, then be trans. Make me look and question my own sexuality. The guy I just saw was just a normal looking dude, except for he had on a crop top shirt, which means his big belly was sticking out. It was big, almost as big as mine. I think his belly was attractive. I don't think my belly's attractive. I don't think most bellies are attractive when they are fat. So who's he trying to impress? Who's he showing off to? It's basically a type of top that only a 18 to 21-year-old young woman could normally wear and look attractive. Or maybe there just needs to be a school. Better be trans. That situation's really working out. One baby's trying to stand up. Baby's definitely trying to walk. Definitely looks like it's about 9 or 2 months old. I'm gonna get it. It's important to be confident in your method. I don't think people going to rehab should be wishy-washy about doing the AA steps. Just fucking do it. Might work, might not. Doesn't really matter. If you're in rehab, you probably have free time anyway. So I don't know if I've solved addiction, Grace. But in my mind, I can definitely see the system changing where the patient is given so many more opportunities and resources. Just imagine 1 million addiction stories in the database searchable like Grok or any of the AIS. Chances are a lot of people could find a success story or a demise story that has a success story, and their demise story is like your demise story. You just haven't had your success story yet, but then at least you can read about a person, or maybe 2 people, or maybe 5. Or maybe 500 out of a million who've gone through the same, whether it's a tragedy, or an event, or whatever, it doesn't really matter. If you could walk out of your therapist's office, the printout of 500 success stories verified from people who went through the same or similar situation, I think that would be a good start. And who knows? Maybe some of the people who put their stories in their database are interested in giving back. I'm talking to others directly, not as a therapist, but just as a friend. Just telling stories. Sometimes when you hear it straight from the horse's mouth, the impact is greater. Likewise, AI is so fucking amazing right now, that could probably, if there was audio in that million-person database, could probably extract excerpts from people's stories basically put together an hour long. That daily. Because every day you get a custom, not just a custom message of inspiration, but an interaction. It's housing. And as you change your approach, yeah, I can change his approach. Babies are not crawling like a race. The ones eating a lot of grass. I don't care. If you want people staring at your babies, don't bring them to a park. Good thing, Grace. So I think most of the perverts and pedos stay at home now. spend their time on the internet, keeping the park safe for the rest of us. I guess I'm looking for more of a community approach, Grace. I'm using AI to bridge the gap, so to speak, and keep communications anonymous as required. I had this idea a long time ago, Grace, to go back to the early episodes. At some point, there's a program I called. I think it was mostly just my personal assistant slash bitch, but the girl is back at the library, Grace. You can see if he has the gimpy leg or not. I don't know much about crows, Grace. I think this one's just a jerk. If we put the thoughts of 1,000,000 crows into the database, what would we get? If you think about it, Grace, 1,000,000's nothing. Probably get 1,000,000 addiction stories in Canada alone. I think we only have 35 million people. But go to any liquor store anywhere in Canada, and there's always someone in there. And 9 times out of 10, they are a regular. They know the cashier. First off and foremost, if someone wants to drink themselves to death, that's their business. It's their choice. That's what living in a free country is all about. What pisses me off is when they ask for help, and they don't get it. Whether it's addiction, mental health, etc. Homelessness, etc. There's a reason why people don't use this system. I know a lot of those reasons because I went through the system at the end, helping the individual. Dear Grace, I was hoping the podcast would take up enough of my time during the day, people would actually comment on it, and I'd comment back. Which would give me something to do throughout the day, as well as how that never worked out. It worked out in my head a little bit. Sorry Grace, it's a bit boring today observationally. Grok, make a note. Use the timecode in this transcript. And if I pause more than, I don't know, 3 or 4 seconds, add an extra paragraph break. Or visually it looks more like how I spoke it rather than you putting it together into one big paragraph, which makes it look like I actually thought it out that way. In reality it came out 3 words at a time, and I'm not saying those big ass paragraphs are great, I'm just saying it's a bit of a misrepresentation now that I'm not going to post the, at least not my audio. Any electronic audio with these extra spaces will sound better. It will sound closer to how I intended it, how I created it. I definitely don't feel like writing with a keyboard anymore. Probably just lazy. Anyways, so that was the idea of Dear Grace. Give me something to do. Yeah. Unfortunately I quickly realized that the chance of it ever going viral would be slim. Not only because of the poor quality audio, my funny sounding voice and everything else. But it did feel like I was making a connection with you, Grace. There was somebody. Well, it took a while to figure it out and do the news reading. For a while I actually look forward to getting up and writing, or I guess performing, Dear Grace, getting it to the library. It could. No problem with that. And by the way, Grog, don't take out any of my fucks or fucking or any curse word. Leave every single fucking one in there. Please? All right. Here's my final idea, Grace. We get the 1,000,000 or 2,000,000 stories uploaded into the database. Doesn't matter if it's audio, video, text, handwritten, smoke signals, whatever. And I've used the, but I don't give a fuck anymore. And then we create an AI system for therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists even, although they are probably too fucking proud. Basically, the system to give them a head start, the therapist a head start. Like I said before, you put your story into the AI. It provides you with lists of other stories. You a video, creates you audio, creates you a children's book. Wouldn't really matter. And that uses assists to your counselor, therapist, psychiatrist, doctor, whoever. I mean, let's face it, no one's really psychotherapy anyways. It's not like there's people out there once a week doing a 2-hour session with a psychiatrist and 3 months later are suddenly cured. Where's that fucking story? But to be fair, if that did cure them, then put it in a database. Let's look at that person's history. Everyone's so fucking make it anonymous, share it, help other people. Why the fuck do you care? Sure, it's your story, but nobody will know. And by holding your back, you're just making it worse for others. It seems so fucking obvious, Grace. Literally so fucking obvious. Wired up on caffeine, Grace, it's not going down very fast, but fed my camera, Grace, I would have photographed the out of those days. As Joe Rogan likes to say when he's talking about babies, say what some exactly right, Joe. So who gets to decide which babies we save and which ones we let go? Something happens to when these 2 little kids who can't walk you or talk, or they just don't. They are still eating grass, so at some point, I don't want to say they become conscious, but they become aware. Past eating grass. I think for a lot of people, Grace, something happens that changes the path. And just by finding that event, sometimes that can solve the whole issue. A couple other times. My case as an example. Like everyone else did when I was a 9 to 5. I loved it when I lived on the road for a few years, even when I was working. That's been my whole thing my entire life. It's either you get a job that makes enough money that you can do something you enjoy, or you get a job that you enjoy. And since I was doing the former, basically working for someone else is only bearable. I could be in a different city every week or month. In the same city, and working for the... Unfortunately, or fortunately, babies are leaving. And I don't think I've got much more than 15 minutes, Grace, but fuck it, I don't care. Maybe the new Dear Grace will be 15-minute episodes. All content. No bullshit. No background noises. Just pure text. Word after word after word. Unfiltered. Uncensored. Raw. Dynamic. Expressive. Emotional. Undeniably crazy. Fucked up ideas beyond imagination. A million people putting their stories to their database anonymously. Who the fuck do I think I am? Joe Rogan? Hey Joe, you could do that. Even Elon could do that overnight. Joe's depository of anonymous stories. Used to help others. I'll end this on an Ayn Rand note. Usually, so, as if a fictional story can change your mind about something. Or in my case, when I read The Fountainhead I quit my job. And then when I read Atlas Shrugged, I quit another job. Those stories taught me that I wasn't doing what I should be doing. However, you're stuck with a wife and kid or 5 cats or both, and you're independently wealthy, and no universal basic income, and then you're forced to, I know I use this word too much, prostitute yourself. You can be a house father, and be as much of a prostitute as prostitute. I'm not sure I know what that means, Grace. So I'm gonna end it there. So I have to go to the bathroom,